You can't do this stuff. Oh my gosh! Now, fire up the crowd for the win. He nailed it! There are few scenes in college football that light up the night skies like Bryant Denny in Tuscaloosa after sundown. And so here we are in the company of a 101,000 plus fan base. It's the Home Depot SEC on CBS this evening. The defending national champion Alabama Crimson Tide against the champions of 2 years ago, the Gators of Florida. Nick Saban and Alabama. Urban Meyer and the Gators of Florida. All right, settle down, me. Good evening, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Gary Danielson and Tracy Wolfson. Let me share a couple of numbers with you just to give you some sense of how good these guys really are. Over the last 3 years, both Alabama and Florida have won 30 and lost only 2 apiece. Obviously, they both got a national title. So, round 3. Well, it's only October, and all SEC or national aspirations will remain viable no matter who wins tonight. But there are dozens of compelling reasons to watch and enjoy this one. Right now, let's go down to Tracy Wolfson, who's live with Nick Saban.
Thanks, Vern. Coach, you said your young defense was intimidated early against Arkansas. How did you address that coming into this one?
Well, what we want our players to do is focus not on what they gain or what they lose in the game, but what they have to do to play well. And play their best football and play it every play in the game, one play at a time, and that makes it simple for them. And that's what we need to do tonight against a good Florida team.
Florida's #1 priority is stopping the run, so what do you need to do offensively to keep them off balance?
Well, we got to have balance. I mean, we got to be able to throw it. We got good skill players. Greg's done a good job all year, and that's going to be our plan.
Thanks a lot. Good luck today. Vern, back to you.
All right, Tracy, I think Nick Saban sat in our production meeting and wanted to emphasize the running game. Well, he's got a couple of pretty good guys to hand it
Yeah,
off.
Vern, what's the old saying about life? There's no sure thing. Well, in college football, there may be, and it may be right here, the running game and the running backs for Alabama. Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson are do-it-all guys. They run with power, speed, they block, they catch the ball. They are the backbone of this football team. And as Nick said, to run the ball to be successful, they're going to have to run it against a very good Florida defense. But those two guys are almost a sure thing.
Well, Florida got off to a really slow start offensively, but they seem to have found themselves last week in the win over Kentucky. Brantley and Trey Burton. Remind you of anybody?
Yeah, it really is. I think it's a trip back to 2006. It was Florida's national championship team when Chris Leak got the help from a freshman, Tim Tebow, for the short yardage package and ran it all the way to the national championship. Well, insert Trey Burton for Tim Tebow and John Brantley's the passing quarterback. It's going to look exactly like 2006 on offense.
It is a crystal clear evening, 76 degrees, slight breeze out of the northwest, and the humidity very mild at 30%. Alabama leads the series by 6 games, and you know it seems appropriate on this 35th anniversary to the precise night of the Thrilla and Manila when Ali beat Frazier and took the lead 2-1 that we get this rematch.
You know what? What did Mark Ingram tell us? If they feel half as bad as we felt last year when we faced them in the SEC championship, we're in for a tussle.
Florida won the toss and deferred. Alabama will get the ball, and this one will be taken by Trent Richardson at the 4-yard line. He's already returned one. Oh, baby, did he take a pop at the 20-yard line. D. Finley, number 13, was a part of it. And Jelani Jenkins, the linebacker, initiated the hit.
Well, Trent Richardson is one of those big return guys, a la Darren McFadden years ago for Arkansas, and that time it was met by linebacker, strength against strength on the kickoff.
Greg McElroy, undefeated, as you know, I think, as a starter both at Alabama and at South Lake Carroll in Texas. 34-0 as a starting quarterback. Handoff, Ingram. Got about 3 out near the 23-yard line. Let's check the Alabama offense, presented by Chick-fil-A. Want to give his due. Carpenter, Warmack, Lejos, Jones, and DJ Fluker at right tackle. He's a redshirt freshman. Julio Jones, Preston Dial, Mark Ingram, Michael Williams, and Marquise Mays complete the lineup. And Richardson, here's this 1-2 punch. Richardson is in the backfield. That's Julio Jones in motion. Florida threatens blitz, and they come. McElroy finds Julio Jones. There's Lejos with a block on Will Hill. Whoa!
A very subtle, nice throw by Greg McElroy. Watch him wait as the defensive end is going to take away the throw with the jump, and then just calmly sets it to Julio Jones to set up the blocks to the outside. And Lejos, the center, gets out there stumbling and bumbling and takes out Will Hill.
Well, his nickname is Barney Rubble. He looked laid waste then. Here's McElroy. Settles for a short receiver. It's Marquise Mays, number 4, with his first catch. Alabama off to a good start. That's a second gain of 14 yards. Let's check the Florida defense. Trato, Hunter, Jay Howard had a great game. He's wearing number 62. We'll tell you more about that. And Duke Lemons, A.J. Jones, Bostic, and Jelani Jenkins. And in the backfield, Janoris Jenkins, Ahmad Black, Will Hill, and Jeremy Brown. First down and 10 across midfield. Ingram's back. This is only his 3rd game of the year. Arthroscopic surgery last week of August, and he missed the first 2 games. He came back in pretty good style.
I think you can see Alabama has started out with a bit of a passing game because Florida is using their big lineup. They have 4 defensive linemen in, and then at the defensive end / linebacker, Duke Lemons is playing that linebacker spot. So they basically have 4 and then a big linebacker on the field for 5.
Call it their heavy defense, and it is. Second down, McElroy, little pressure, screen pass. Ingram, loose to the right side, Alabama, first down.
And see, I think this is so smart by Alabama. You have to figure that Justin Trato and Duke Lemons have spent the whole spring and fall playing defensive line. And now you're asking them to do something a little bit out of sync.
Personal
as
foul. They're gonna play. Roughing the passer, number 99 defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Tom Ritter is our referee tonight. The call is against Omar Hunter, number 99, defensive tackle from the Florida Gators.
And remember, Alabama's going to invite the defensive line in, and that was almost a step and a half. And he shoved them, but it was a step and a half before he shoved them. Good call.
With the penalty, a first down at the 23-yard line. Motion, Lejos goes down.
Back to back.
Now that'll earn Omar Hunter a spot next to his head coach.
Next.
Dead ball, offside, 99 defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Dan McCarney, assistant head coach, defensive line coach. You get a roughing the passer, and then you get wired, and you jump off sides. You go next, and Lawrence Marsh comes in the game.
Dan McCarney, lecturer. 1st and 5. Richardson's on the field. This is the pistol formation. Ingram right side. They go to the left. Julio Jones. How about that block from Darius Hanks, number 15?
That play would have been much more effective had Greg McElroy caught the snap. He bobbled it so much that the timing of the play was really misdone. Watch, look, he had it. It should have been gone by now. And Greg's very fortunate that they even got back to the line of scrimmage. Took a good block, as Vern called for you.
2nd down, 2. Opening drive of the ball game. Richardson, the running back. And he'll get the handoff. Bounces off his own man, and with a little second effort, carries the ball to the south before Janoris Jenkins makes the tackle, number 1, and it is a first down.
Well, pretty interesting again. Remember the screen pass in the 2009 SEC Championship right before the half? Remember that one that went like 80 yards?
70 yards,
yeah,
yes.
70 yards. That's
Yes.
close to 70, 80. Already in this game, we've had 2 screen passes in this game. It looks like Alabama's going to say, have you learned to stop it?
Take a look at the statistics from the Verizon Red Zone. Here's Richardson to the 10-yard line. Second down, 8.
Well, here's the matchup. Julio against Jenkins, one-on-one. They believe, Florida, that they can handle it.
That's Janoris Jenkins up to bump and run. McElroy. Oh, look, that almost was picked off, and there was a little stumble. Jeremy Brown, who had a pick 6 last week against Kentucky, had good position on Darius Hanks.
And Vern, I think that's the biggest thing that Florida has going for them in their ability to stop the run, is that they believe their corners can match up one-on-one to the receivers so they can bring that safety into the box. A lot of teams just don't have confidence enough in doing that.
3rd down, 8. McElroy steps up, still looking. He takes a pop and is downed by Matt Elam, number 22, true freshman, one of several who gets a lot of playing time for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, Matt Elam was a highly recruited safety, and to get on the field with these safeties, you got to be good. But watch him close ground. When you talk to the Alabama coaches, they say one thing that jumps out about Florida is their athletes can close ground on defense.
This is Jeremy Shelley, number 90. He is the short yardage field goal for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The hold is down and Shelley's kick is up. And the Alabama Crimson Tide gets on the scoreboard first with a 28-yard field goal. Jeremy Shelley, 9:28 to go in the opening quarter. This could be fun before we're finished. LG, as a proud NCAA corporate partner, presents great SEC rivalries.
It's all about tailgating.
Go Gators! Roll Tide! The Gators are going to the Sugar Bowl. Roll Tide! Matthews picked off by Langham. Langham will score.
All day Dixie Way, Saturday in the South.
Gators Tide! This rivalry's a knockout.
They embarrassed us on national TV last year, and we just can't wait to go out there and get the opportunity to play them again.
Florida is a tremendous rivalry for us, but it's not a hated rivalry. It's a rivalry where I think both teams respect each other.
We'll play them anytime, anywhere, and it's going to be a physical game.
Indeed, it has been in the early going.
You know, but I think it's when you're 6'5", 315 pounds, and you played 4 years in the SEC, you can say anything you want to say.
Well, Robert Clark is one of the deep men now with Mike Gillisley. Normally, Jeffrey Dents returns kickoffs, but he was a last-minute decision. He will play tonight, but they're not going to chance him returning kicks. Here's Gillisley. across the 20 out near the 23. Demps with a sprained foot actually happened at Tennessee, and then he kind of irritated it last week against Kentucky.
I was on the field and watched very closely him warm up. It was heavily taped, and he was favoring it, but he looked like he could do everything he wanted to do, but not like Demps.
John Brantley, in his first year as a starter, John Brantley the fourth. See his stats for the year. Gets the snap from Pouncey. Here's Demps. Goes right, tripped up as he gets across the 25, and is tackled near the 28-yard line by Dre Kirkpatrick. Let's introduce you now to the Florida offense presented by Chick-fil-A. On the line, and it is a good one. Gilbert, Johnson, Pouncey, Hurt, and Xavier Nixon. Deontay Thompson, Trey Burton, we list him as an athlete. He's all over the place. Demps, Reed, and Moore. Now Gillislee and Emmanuel Moody on either side of Brantley. Play action, trouble. Brantley escapes, and he picks up the first down as he scampers out of bounds. At the 36-yard line, Courtney Upshaw was there to force him out of bounds. Defensively for Alabama, Darius, Chapman, and Damian Square up front. Darius, of course, suspended the first two games. Chavis Williams is back in the starting lineup. Nico Johnson, Dante Hightower, and in the secondary, the true freshman Milliner, Mark Barron, Robert Lester, and Dre Kirkpatrick. First down 10, Florida. Moody alongside Brantley. Option, pitch. Gillislee. Ouch. Ouch.
As much as you might like to start slowly if you're Florida and get Brantley ready to play in this football game, I just don't think you can waste possessions.
Right.
I mean, you just got to run your whole offense. The way Alabama can move the ball this year on offense, I think every possession, if you're calling plays for Florida, you must try to make count.
You see, they've got the best scoring defense in college football. Here's the dive play again. The handoff goes to Demps, and he's a yard short of the first down at the 45.
Well, you got to kind of admire Florida and Demps. If you say you can play, we're going to play you. We're not going to hide you. We're running you right up the middle.
Well, of course, he's got world-class speed.
Not tonight he does.
Exactly.
Not tonight he does.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we were going.
He still has good speed, but not world-class speed. Florida's going to go heavy here with an extra lineman, and you can see Alabama adjust with the different defense.
Carl Moore goes wide to the right.
See a tight end, they have an extra tackle over here.
Straight eye formation. Play fake. Brantley got it. Complete out of the left flat. And that will reset the chain with a fresh series of 4 downs. And it's Trey Burton, number 8, the true freshman out of Venice, Florida.
Watch this over here. They got a hitch going over here, but the corner bites on the run. It could have just been a long pass. They still run the hitch. But that was a key buster by Florida. They knew Alabama was 100% run on that formation. They played it that way and came up with a play-action pass.
This is Trey Burton, number 8. Brantley finds Burton. He can't shake the tackle. Dre Kirkpatrick, good hands.
Well, Trey Kirkpatrick, who started so slow last week against Arkansas and finished with that big interception, makes a big tackle on Trey Burton right there, because that could have turned into about an 8 or 9 yard gain.
Second down and 8. Burton lines up in 4 different positions. He's a true freshman, 6 touchdowns last week in the win over Kentucky. This is Emmanuel Moody. Draw play. Moody cuts right. Stopped at the 50. Flag is down. And now it's time, Gary, to take a look at our Home Depot tools for success.
Well, you see, Florida decided they needed more in their offense besides the I formation. So with Trey Burton, they're going to find him all over the field, starting out at quarterback, which is he was recruited, fullback certain plays, wide receiver when he has to, and H-back or tight end every once in a while. So that's going to be a big identification part of the game plan for Alabama. We'll show you later what this Alabama defense has to go through because of the different formations with Trey Burton.
Call was offside. Alabama accepted by Florida, and that makes it 2nd down and 3. Now Burton as a fullback almost. Brantley steps up, and there's the completion down the right side. Deontay Thompson, number 6. Gain of 21.
If you talk to the Florida coaches, they say that their offensive line needs to win this football game. Look at the physical Deontay Thompson.
My goodness.
Oh, my.
Wow.
He's earned his playing time. Remember, there's been questions about his hands. He said, I got good hands. Don't worry about me. I'll catch it. Just get it to me. But that offensive line for Florida has been moving the defensive line for Alabama.
That was a gain of 21. Here's the pitch back to Omarius Hines, number 82, and they clear a lane for him. Pouncey was out there from his center position, number 55, and there was a little more help. There's Mike Pouncey.
I thought this was going to be a walk-in, and it was a tremendous play by the safety this time for Alabama. I think it was Barron. Watch this, 3 blockers in front of him, and Barron slips them all and saves a touchdown on the play. Well, for now, he saves a touchdown on the play.
No wonder Pouncey was jumping up and down.
Yes.
He missed the block. 1st and goal, 4:38 to go. 1st quarter. Blitz. Moody breaks a tackle. Down at the 1.5.
Amazing. Florida, everybody wondering this year, boy, what will we do? We can't move the ball. But first 3 games, they didn't score in the 1st quarter.
Right.
The earth was about to just end in Tallahassee. In Gainesville. But then they found another guy. They added another weapon, and Steve Adazio says, I can call plays now.
Steve Adazio, you just saw him. He's the offensive coordinator for the Gators. And here's Burton. This is the Tebow position. Whoa, he bobbled it.
Oh, my. Did he get there?
No, down at the 1. Kerry Murphy, number 64,
Vern, I
was
think
there.
it was a poor snap. I don't know, did he bobble it, or was it high and to his left?
If so, it is.
Yeah, high and to
Good
his
catch.
left.
And this has been something that has troubled the Gators. Mike Pouncey's snapping in the shotgun since week 1.
That was very close there. His knee came down, but I think we're going to see another look at this. You know, that's where Trey Burton really showed what type of athlete he is. Basketball player, baseball player, everything. Made the catch and then wiggled his way. The ball got across, but did his knee touch down?
It is under review. Looks like
his left elbow came down, and then he reached the ball out, it seems to me. Yeah, boy, he was right at the same time. Was his forearm down? Kerry Murphy had a hold of him there. Dante Hightower had a hold of him there.
Our replay official tonight is Ben Oldham, and he's taking a look at it, lengthy look at it right now. Here's Tom Ritter.
After further review, the rule stands as called on the field. 3rd down.
Well, remember week 1 against Miami of Ohio, Mike Pouncey, John Brantley, all kinds of problems. There's 1, 2, and against Tennessee, it continued. Brantley and Pouncey worked on it at length, but obviously still a problem. 14 fumbles this season, many of them on the snap, and here's Burton. Down. Marcel Darius.
Alabama lost a lot of talent on defense last year, but the three guys they returned, Barron, Hightower, who was injured most of the year, and Marcel Darius, are all as good as there is in college football. Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down.
For the year, the Gators are 7 of 10 on 4th down. This is from the 2. It's Burton, jump pass. How about intercepted in the end zone? You tried too much, Tebow, and kaboom. Miko Johnson.
I think Gerald Christensen, number 32, couldn't get out. Watch him being held up right here. I think they were trying to get the ball to the freshman, and he got held up. Yes. Number 11, Jordan Reed is who they were trying to get the ball to there. And the jump, and it would have been up and down because there was nobody to throw to.
Darn it.
Well, you think Alabama had a hint? Kirby Smart right there is saying, watch the jump pass. Nick Saban's whispering in his ear, watch the jump pass. What did they get? The jump pass. Damian Square over here, number 92. I didn't know if it was going to go to 32 or 11, but Alabama was ready for it.
Well, of course, Tim Tebow in his 4 years at Florida channeled his inner Otto Graham and completed 4 of those for touchdowns. But this one, the first tried by Trey Burton, First down and 10. 12-play drive. Here's McElroy. Tipped. Incomplete. Will Hill, number 10.
Well, Alabama drove down there and got a field goal. Now you wonder, should have Florida just said, let's kick a field goal, make it a 3-3 game. You know, I can understand it. I really can. They thought they had a play that worked. I don't have any problem with it. I guess it's a little different when the other team, one thing they know about Alabama, they don't do more than spend 20 hours there talking on the phone. They watch tapes for 20 hours. They were ready.
That's right. Second down and 10. Ingram, not much this time. Mark Ingram missed the first 2 with that knee surgery. He said it's not 100% yet. He wanted to come back against Penn State. That primetime game played here, but in retrospect, said wisely they held him out one more. And 9 carries for 151 yards at Duke, and last week up at Arkansas, boy, he was something else. 154 yards. McElroy, nobody open. How about that? There's Ingram. Said yesterday, I'm pretty good at catching the ball too.
Well, this was another wonderful play by the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I actually think McElroy might have got popped on that thigh again or ankle or something because he's limping again.
It's his right thigh. Took an opponent's helmet to his right thigh last week.
And it looked like his ankle. He came from behind. Justin Tratto got him from behind that time, and now it's the ankle. Starts with the thigh, goes the ankle. Soon it'll be your hip, believe me. Once you get hit and hurt,
and then we sing "Them Bones and Bones Gonna Walk Around." McElroy diving attempt, yes it was. Well, McElroy last week had 2 interceptions in the second quarter at Arkansas. And bounced back, but boy, he took a pounding in the game, didn't he?
Yeah, he got a knee right to his thigh. Limped off. Nursed it all week. I watched him in practice Thursday. He seemed fine. He told us he was fine, but trust me, once something goes wrong, everything goes wrong when you're playing football. Just adds up.
Second and 10. Marquise Mays in motion to the left side. Sweet Richardson. Oh, wow. So you get enough of Mark Ingram, and they put in Trent Richardson. What a 1-2 punch.
Well, one of the hidden assets of this Alabama team is Mike Williams, number 89. Watch it. They call him a third tackle, a tackle with ball skills. Look him hook on the end of the line. And gee, Trent Richardson's really good, but any SEC back there is going to gain 20 yards. I mean, that was just great blocking at the point of attack.
And he got a good block from the wide receiver, Marquise Mays. And now first down after that 30-yard gain. Play action. McElroy. Darius Hanks wide open, left side.
See, excuse me, Vern. See, Nick understands this team is different. Last year he had to baby his offense because he had a new quarterback that he really didn't trust. Now Greg McElroy's earned his trust. He knows he's got weapons at the skill positions, and he's going to say, we're not going to just play defense this year. We're going to continue to move the ball, throw it, and be balanced. So far in the game, 16 plays, 7 runs, 9 pass.
Should be, well, time is called by Alabama. No. They give him the timeout, or the quarter expired? Okay. So Alabama is not charged with the timeout. And now it is a timeout. We'll be right back. Back to play. The clock operator a little slow on the trigger finger. He allowed it to go down to 0. They did reset the clock, 2 seconds, final play of the first quarter. Oh, wow. Hanks had to go down low, but he got it as McElroy had all well, that's good use of your timeout.
That's right. Well, they didn't want to get a delay of game at the end of the quarter, so they had to call the timeout. Great route running right there.
Now that is the end of the first quarter as you look at Darius Hanks.
Square out, end of the quarter, wonderful throw.
We'll return to Bryant-Denny Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Let's get this thing started. It's my kind of party.
Welcome you back to Bryant-Denny on the campus of the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And they have gone to the north end of the stadium now. First down and 10 at the 14-yard line. Florida, as you can see, 69 total yards. And Alabama 114. McElroy. Underneath to Darius Hanks. And that's going to move the ball to the 6-yard line. Well, Nick Saban said to Tracy as we came on the air, balance.
Yeah, well, they've got a quarterback that's balanced right now. He's 8 for 11 in the football game. And as good as those backs are, and you know you got them, when you got a quarterback that can keep making plays like this, you can see why Alabama continues to drive. Both defenses had a good stop in their zone, in their goal line defense so far. Florida decided to go for it. Alabama decided to kick a field goal in the first drive.
Here's McElroy under center. That's Preston Dial leading the way. Ingram, touchdown, Crimson Tide. Ingram said of Trent Richardson, we're like brothers. We compete, but we don't compete. And help each other improve. 9 plays, 80 yards, took 3:07 off the clock. Ingram.
Chase Warmack got the hook block. Mark Ingram, Vern, he knew he had it the whole way. He baited Florida in. and just took it to the outside for an easy touchdown.
Well, we invite you to watch Fantasy Football Today to get the last-minute news and analysis you need to set up your Fantasy League lineup. It's live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, only on CBSSports.com. Mark Ingram, 6-yard run to put the period to an 80-yard drive, and it all began after Florida had gone 74 yards and had an interception in the end zone on the attempted jump pass.
Yeah, I think Florida's been served notice. They're going to have to score in this football game.
This is Cade Foster, the freshman out of South Lake Carroll. Ironically, Cade Foster from the same high school at which Greg McElroy starred and led the team to a state championship his senior year. Foster, number 43. Robert Clark and Mike Gillisley are the two deep men. In and out of the end zone. Let's go back and take a look at Mark Ingram's touchdown run.
Vern, watch the wonderful combination of patience and power. How is this guy right here going to block this guy right here? And then how is Warmack, the guard, going to come around and make his block? Patience. Watch Preston Dial. Wait and get the block. Power. Come around the side, chance Warmack, and then patience and power by your running back. Bad news for this Florida defense. Remember early in the drive, Trent Richardson got outside for a big sweep, and now Mark Ingram gets outside for a big touchdown.
It was those two running backs who really dominated the game last year, the SEC championship. Trey Burton is back in the lineup, and here is Brantley going left and finding a brick wall. Let's go back to the studio for this John Hancock update.
Vern out west. Stephon Taylor, a 44-yard touchdown run. They are gashing the Cardinal Big Ten, gashing their Pac-10 brethren. Already Andrew Luck, a touchdown pass and a touchdown rush. It's 21-3. Back to you.
All right, Stanford trying to go to 5-0 for the first. How about that? Since 1951. Second down. Dive play left. Emmanuel Moody, number 21, who another Texan, began his career collegiately at Southern California. Urban Meyer's team now down 10, largest deficit they have faced this year.
Well, they've got a problem. They do not have the breakaway threat of Jeffrey Demps, and it looks like they're going to have to open it up and throw the ball.
And on this play, Burton, top of the screen, number 8. Oh, I beg your pardon. He's to the left side in the backfield. Carl Moore, number 9, is wide left.
Let's see if Alabama can get a pass rush here.
They have only 4 sacks this year. That's one way to try it. Now, against whom?
It's going to be 3rd and short, but now what do you do?
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Ever since the first game against Tennessee, when Florida went 3rd and short and didn't make it, and 4th and short and didn't make it, they've gone to a different attack in 3rd and short. Here they go again.
Yep. Snap back, Brantley rolls right. Avoids the pressure, and it's knocked free. It was intended for Moore, and Robert Lester, number 37, who is this week's defensive player of the week in the Southeastern Conference, was up there to help.
Watch Dante Hightower take away the first option on this play and allow Lester to make the play. Hightower out, taking away the first throw, forces Brantley to come back, puts it right there. Should have been caught.
That brings on Chaz Henry to punt. Henry will also do the field goal work tonight as Caleb Sturgis, the regular, is back home with a stress fracture in his lower back. Sturgis might be out for as many as 6 to 8 weeks. Nice high punt. Julio Jones gathers it in at the 18, and he's got some room. Knocked out of bounds as he gets to the 42-yard line by the punter, Chaz Henry. Florida's punt coverage has been superb over the last few years. Last week they gave up a 21-yarder, and this one exceeds that.
You're right, and coming down, Julio Jones, you think he's a big guy, but he catches it, and then Henry's the last guy to get it. Also, Will Hill could have been there to make it, but didn't make the tackle.
A couple of weeks ago, Gary Danielson said these guys are so good they need a nickname. So several have been suggested. Thunder, Lightning, Shock and Awe, Meat and Potatoes, Porterhouse, Alpha and Omega.
We even challenged the radio listeners to the local talk shows. They called in ideas.
So in the car yesterday, going to our meetings, Tracy Wolfson said, I've got an idea. How about Fast and Furious?
And they've showed it so far in this game, and you know they're interchangeable. They're fast and they run furious. There's no doubt about that. Almost a sure thing. Is that what we started with?
Yeah. There's Fast on the left and Furious on the right, or vice versa. Either fits. Hope you like it. If you don't, call Tracy. First down and 10. Richardson's in the backfield. McElroy. Ouch. Pete Lemons was there defensively.
In that situation, Greg did a good job of seeing that nothing was there. Now the next thing he has to do is slide and save himself. He's too important to the football team to be doing this. That's taken on a 255-pound defensive end outside linebacker, and that's just silly.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Marquise Mays and Darius Hanks come out. Michael Williams goes tight to the right, and Brad Smelly, number 17, is to the left side. It's Richardson out of the Wildcat. That's Preston Dial going right. Richardson, delay, get out of my way. Well, these two, there's a scramble for the football, and
they did not call this
no
foul.
whistle. Julio Jones finally picked it up. Well, that was interesting.
Well, they had close to 700 touches without a fumble, maybe more. And was he down? Was his forward progress stopped? If there was no whistle, looked like there was a whistle on the play.
Now let's see if we get any indication from Thomas Ritter. We do not. It was ripped out. It will go as a fumble. He was on another player. That's so Ahmad Black pulled it out for Florida. 3rd and 5. Timeout.
Yeah, I wonder if Urban is going to want to challenge this with the timeout, or at least give the replay official more time. Or was it Alabama?
Alabama.
Oh my.
CBS Sports coverage will continue after this word from your local station. Well, these guys do not fumble very often. This one, Gary, Trent Richardson's carry, ruled a fumble on the field.
Yeah, we watched this 3 or 4 times. I thought he was down there. Obviously, the whistle didn't blow. It's ripped out and went to Julio Jones, and it was a live ball, and he actually gained a couple extra yards on the play from where Richardson was down.
Well, they recovered the fumble. Take a look at that. 726 touches running and receiving, and between the two of them, 2 lost fumbles.
Now, does Florida come with some pressure? Because this is this area where Nick likes to go for it on 4th down if it's close.
McElroy with lots of time.
Did it again, didn't he?
Yeah. Brandon Antoine, number 47. Look at McElroy with a big smile.
Yep. So underrated, his ability to just sense what's going on in the field and get out of nothing plays just by managing the pocket, moving around, and then not panicking, getting up the field and making a first down. We saw it in the SEC Championship, and Mike Williams got a big block, didn't he? But at the end.
First down and 10. Mike Williams, number 89. And that was a gain of 11. Here's Richardson. Follows Preston Dial, goes right. Squeezes through a very slight opening. Well, Greg McElroy was so integral a part of that championship game win last year.
Well, yeah, everybody thought these were the plays that Tebow was going to make in the game, and it ended up being McElroy, the manager of the game, that made the key plays.
Played behind Chase Daniel for 2 years at South Lake Carroll.
One thing I'm sure of, we won't see those white helmets again for a long, long time for Florida.
Daniel went on to Missouri, and McElroy led his team to a state title 16-0.
Oh, man!
That would be Richardson, and he is.
Now that's furious. That's scary furious. He runs right through a tackler. Right into the blitz. Right over a defender. Was it Will Hill? I think it was Will Hill. An All-American type, yes. Will Hill right through him. My goodness.
Well, they list him 5'11", 220.
And now they put the backup in, the Heisman Trophy winner.
That's right. Oh, goodness. Here's Ingram to the 3-yard line.
It's so funny just watching this. So many teams with that spread offense, guys all over the field and going in motion. And this is like watching 1960 football right here. They throw the ball, they run a single ring, and they hand the ball to this guy.
Well, the term inexorable comes to mind. They just keep coming at you. Hand off Ingram. In the corner. Now, did the ball get across? No. Ruled out of bounds just short.
Get to the edge. Run at the big guys. Preston Dial's always in the middle of it, isn't he?
Yes. Now who's going to get it? Third down. Ingram in the backfield. That's Dial, number 85. Lead block by the fullback. Touchdown, Alabama. 2 for Ingram tonight. And it's 16-zip. Fast and furious. Jeremy Shelley is on to try the extra point. A.J. McCarron is the holder. He's also Greg McElroy's backup. Great punt return by Julio Jones of 40 yards. Set up this 42-yard drive.
Yeah, all the stars were in this one. Julio from the start. How about that offensive line? Pushing, 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 and driving right in the end zone. And the score has been fast and furious. 17-0.
That's second deck to the left. 9,000 seats added in 98. And to the right, 9,000 seats added this offseason. And the coverage from up on high provided by Goodyear. And with the additional 18,000 seats in the last 11 years, 101,821 seats available.
I don't want to say you're close to the field here, but it feels like if you spill your drink, it's going to land on the field.
Are you suggesting that we are not quite as high in the air as...
No, when you're in those end zone seats, I mean, you're close. Those are great seats.
Yeah. This has become, I think, Gary, one of the most beautiful football stadiums in the country. And a lot of credit goes to Mal Moore, the athletic director, who told us last night That was his charge when he came in as the AD in 1999. Improved the facilities. Gillisley in between the 25 and 30-yard lines. Trey Burton, true freshman, Venice, Florida. For more, let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Well, Vern, let's go outside the huddle. Trey Burton's given name Lawrence Godfrey Burton III, named after his paternal grandfather, Larry Burton, a tremendous athlete himself, an Olympic track athlete who played football at Purdue and was a first-round draft choice for New Orleans. His brother Clay is a linebacker, and he verbally committed to play at Notre Dame. Besides spending time with his brother and playing football, what does Trey like to do? Play Xbox and eat chocolate, guys.
All right, Trace. 3 wide receivers left. Here's the pass incomplete at the 40-yard line. Jordan Reed, the intended receiver, the tight end, number 11.
You know, Vern, it's amazing what a little rest does. I was out at practice Thursday, and Marcel Darius, I thought it was 75, 80%, and I wondered if he could get the push and be effective enough. Remember at the end of the game last week against Arkansas, he was barely moving. But he's been a threat in this football game. He is much better.
And again, Jeff Demps, bothered by the bad ankle, gave it a go, but he's on the bench. And here's Brantley. Courtney Upshaw, number 41.
Let's take a look at Marcel Darius and what he does here, eating up 2 guys and allows Upshaw to eat up the run carrier. This is what you have to do. Make 2 guys block you. He's got Pouncey and Hurt, and from the backside comes Upshaw. Beautiful defense.
Trey Burton behind his right tackle, number 8. Here's Brantley, stunts defensively. Brantley, oh, it's picked off. Gray Kirkpatrick had one of the big interceptions against Arkansas last week. And Brantley, whose streak of 156 without an interception was ended last week, is picked off for the 2nd week in a row.
Watch what a good zone defender will do if he has nobody in his area. He'll shove his receiver, and then he'll look for the next most dangerous guy. He finds him, and he takes him. Beautiful defensive work by a zone corner who had nothing outside of him.
Kirkpatrick, as you saw, his 3rd pick of the year. And Brantley puts on the headsets, and they'll try and sort something out. 1st down and 10. Here's McElroy. Hangs on to it. Greg's got a lot on his mind, not only Florida football tonight. He's attempting to get a Rhodes Scholarship, and his presentation for the Rhodes Scholarship is due tomorrow night. He said he's gone through 8 or 9 drafts. It's a 1,000-word essay. And he told us yesterday he'd almost rather it be 20 pages like the old Blue Book test.
Yes.
But this one, 1,000 words, and he'll get word on the scholarship on November 20th. Marquise Mays is in the backfield. He's going to throw. Man wide open. Touchdown, Michael Williams. Mays to Williams. And the lead is increased. What they tell us last week, they can run the Wildcat out of 11 different formations.
Well, remember, Marquise Mays is a high school quarterback, so you knew something was up when they went with him in the Wildcat.
Shelley is on for the extra point.
Well, Wildcat has equal to run. Look at the safety. It's going to happen right there, the tight end. The tackle with ball skills. Everybody thinks it's going to be another run. As easy as you could get one, pitch and catch, right on the money.
He looked pretty good throwing that football.
Well, can't get anybody more open than that, that's for sure.
Well, that's an advantage, I admit. Mays to Williams, TD Alabama. 24-0 Alabama leads Florida, and Urban Meyer's brilliant career He's going to be a part of the Aflac trivia question tonight. And here it is. Which is the only team to defeat an Urban Meyer coach team twice in a row. It's only happened once, and recall that Alabama gave Florida and Urban Meyer a beating in the SEC title game last year. Down 24-0. Crimson Tide have had 4 possessions, 4 scores. Cade Foster, Robert Clark, and Mike Gillisley are the deep men. Here's Foster's kickoff. Taken near the goal line by Gillisley. Tripped up and down. It almost went. There are flags down.
How about that? Trent Richardson on the tackle.
Yeah, on the kickoff team. So the flag. Well, this is Urban Meyer and Florida's first visit here in 5 years. And all of us who were here remember this play from a different number 4. That was Tyrone Prothro. 31-3, 4th and 5. And Mike Shula had Brody Coyle throw it deep. That was the last play of Tyrone Prothro's collegiate career. He's here at the game tonight in one of the suites. He's working as a bank teller in a bank not too far from Bryant-Denny Stadium. Marvelous young player in that game. He had 7 catches for 134 yards. Here's Brantley, right side. Trey Burton out to the 26. And let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Guys, Mike Gillisley came off the field walking gingerly on that right ankle. That's what they're taking a look at it. They can't afford to lose him with Demp slowed as well. Any more information, I'll bring it to you.
All right, Tracy, sophomore out of DeLand, Florida, 5'11", 191-pounder.
Don't know if I've seen a team play a second half as good as Alabama and a first half as good as Alabama back-to-back.
Yeah. Moody, nothing except Courtney Upshaw, who has a sack tonight and now a tackle for loss.
As Florida discusses their injuries and nicks, Alabama's getting healthy. Courtney Upshaw was nicked all year and he's getting better. Marcel Darius looks better tonight than he did in the second half of that football game. As Alabama gets healthy, you see they have more defensive linemen than they showed in the first 4 or 5 games.
See number 8, Burton to the left. Out in the pass route. Pass is deep. Tip. Omarius Hines. That's the true freshman. No, I'm sorry. It was Dequan Menzie, number 24, not number 28.
See, that's what Alabama does. They challenge every throw, especially on 3rd down. Dequan Menzie is just running along and lays out and makes the play right across the arm, and Nick goes just like I taught you.
Now here's Chaz Henry on to punt. Remember, he had one returned 40 yards by Julio Jones, and it was Henry who saved it. Julio almost broke it for the touchdown. This one a great punt, and he goes, oh, this is statistical. Look at this. Lynch to arrest at the 2-yard line. That's just your basic 75-yard punt. Monday on CBS. See what 75-yard punt down at the 2.
Well, at this pace, Alabama's going to put a 5-0 up in this game.
Boy.
I know. They really don't have a weakness. Not on offense, they don't. Their offensive line, their skill receivers, their quarterback makes good decisions, and their 2 great running backs.
Richardson gets the handoff, plunges out across the 5 to the 6. Justin Tratto, number 94, made the stop. Ingram Richardson, best running back tandem in collegiate football right now.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they deserve that honor. I mean, Richardson is one of a kind, but he's got a guy in front of him that won the Heisman Trophy. What can you say? His second choice, by the way, was Florida, where he was going to go to school.
That's right. Well, he went to high school at Escambia, Florida. That's the hometown and same high school of a guy named Emmitt Smith. Play fake, McElroy. Incomplete.
Got to catch that.
Yeah, Julio Jones should have had it. Well, let's just go back this decade and take a look at some of the great running back tandems. Clinton Portis, Frank Gore at Miami, pretty decent. Marion Barber III, Lawrence Maroney at Minnesota. Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams.
Both very effective.
How about Reggie Bush and Lindale White? Felix Jones, Darren McFadden.
2 #1 picks.
Yep.
It's a big stop for Florida. They get the ball in the second half. This is their chance. Get a stop here, score, and get it in the second half.
3rd and 6, and they got the stop. Now they have all 3 timeouts left, 3:35 to go, and that was Jelani Jenkins in the middle.
This is basically, I believe, the ball game for Florida. They need to put points on the board and then start the second half with points.
Alabama to punt for the first time tonight. It's Cody Mandel, Lafayette, Louisiana. And Janoris Jenkins, #1, is... oh, wow, what a bad punt.
Yeah, it started with a bad snap, and it got worse.
I was watching Jenkins at the left end, and he was waving everybody away from it. Well, the ball bounced 40 yards from him. On the right, that would be Nick Saban.
Watch the snap. Low. And a shank.
Carson Tinker, #51, is the long snapper. And after a 26-yard punt, John Brantley at the Gators trying to get on the board before halftime. Emmanuel Moody, Marcel Darius. Nothing again. That's pretty interesting.
That's kind of the team that beat them twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not supposed to say that.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, it's.
Oh, that's great. You're giving away the athlete. 2:40 to go. Florida, 3 timeouts. Brantley, Mike Pouncey will snap it back. Little crossing route underneath, and the umpire got it. Wow. Ha. Well, how about the Aflac answer? Let the duck come across, who's the only team to defeat Urban Meyer twice in a row. Folks in this state should remember. Auburn, Tommy Tuberville, 06 and 07, 3rd and 11. Stunts, Brantley tipped, incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Flag on the far side.
Back-to-back plays knocked down by that pass rush from Alabama. When you try to throw those short routes, the defensive linemen can make and affect the game with their hands.
Substitution infraction on the offense, #7. The player did not get inside the numbers prior to the snap. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Again, Florida's been throwing short throughout this game. So the Florida defensive linemen have been jumping and making plays. And it was Courtney Upshaw again. I think he made both of them. Upshaw, both 2 for 2.
It was Justin Williams, a wide receiver, with the infraction. The umpire.
They've been getting enough pressure not to have to blitz. 4-man rush has been enough.
Brantley. Is it complete?
It is.
Oh, wow. Carl Moore made the catch. And I think with that spot, they're going to convert the 4th down.
And he's been their 3rd down go-to guy all year. Good pass protection, a great throw, almost knocked down, and look at that catch. Great concentration by Moore because Drake Kirkpatrick was all over Moore on that play.
Each of his last 7 receptions had resulted in a 3rd down conversion. Now The fourth down reception gives Florida a breath of life. Almost a bad snap again. Here's Moody.
I think it's Demps, isn't it?
It is Demps, right.
It is.
2 instead of 21.
Bad snap again to the left. Brantley did a good job, and that was a big tackle by Hightower. I think Demps would have been in the end zone.
2nd and 2 officially.
Alabama comes with their dime package. Will Lowry in the game.
3 down for the Crimson Tide. They're going to bring, and the right tackle moved. Influence, that was Xavier Nixon who moved.
False start, 73. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
Xavier Nixon has played as a true freshman right there. He sees the blitz coming from the outside. Menzie is going to come, and he's going to react to it, but too quick.
Maurice Hurt was trying to pull him back. 2nd down.
Florida
Timeout
took a
called by the sideline. Yeah.
Yep.
Urban Meyer called this one. That is Florida's first with 55 seconds to go before the break. 24-0 Alabama. Florida trying to get on the board. Back in Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny Stadium with Alabama leading by 24, and coming up less than a minute of game time, we'll go back to New York for the Geico halftime report. Tim Spencer and Tony Barnhart get you up to date on this significant weekend in college football. 2nd down and 7. They're hurting Nixon on the right side for Florida. Brantley in the end zone. Man open. Tough play. It was intended for Carl Moore. Deep in the left corner of the end zone. Mark Barron was covering.
How about that strong safety? Mark Barron is the guy that had to make the play on that one. It was a good matchup for Florida. And right at the end, he grabbed his arm just as the ball got there. Remember, Florida does not have their regular field goal kicker, and they're down 24 points.
Right.
Whoa.
Incomplete. Ruled a forward pass, incomplete. Moody couldn't hang on. It'll be 4th down.
Very interesting decision here by Urban Meyer. They've already made a 4th down conversion. You're down 24 points. Do you kick a field goal and give your team something before half?
Now, Chaz Henry's going to attempt a field goal. He did kick field goals in high school. His longest was 57. It's a brand new holder, John Crowfoot, number 47.
See if
from 39 yards out. Good snap, good hold, and Henry nails it. And Caleb Sturgis, I'm sure, back home in Gainesville, applauding as his teammate gets on the board. But they still trail by 21. Tomorrow on 60 Minutes, Bill and Melinda Gates are the richest couple in the world, and they're giving their fortune away. Find out where the money is going tomorrow on 60 Minutes only, CBS. On the field goal attempt, Dre Kirkpatrick went down in the backfield close to the holder. Now, obviously, limping off. We'll show that to you after the kick here in just a second.
He must have cramped up. Just as he exploded off the line of scrimmage, he just cramped and just laid there on the field. Boy, that was a missed opportunity for Florida, and it was almost handed to him by Julio Jones not fielding that punt, and then the bad punt.
Brand new kickoff specialist Brad Phillips, his first kick in a Florida uniform, and the return is out near the 21-yard line. Ahmad Black with the tackle. Now let's Gary revisit that field goal try.
Yeah, here he is. Dre's right there. He's already had the interception, played a lot of one-on-one coverage as he explodes off You can just see his legs just give out from underneath him. He's got nothing. Hopefully it's just a cramp and nothing worse.
1st and 10. 28 seconds to go.
Remember the SEC game, that big, this was just the opportunity. It was a little bit more time, like a minute. They threw that screen pass.
70 or 80 yards.
Yep, something like that. You got me on that one. Look at this. I would never guess it.
Draw play. Ingram. They're going to take a knee?
They don't have to.
Alabama with 200 yards of offense in the first half. Ingram, 2 touchdowns. Tracy's with Urban Meyer.
Coach, your first points of the half there. Why have you had so much trouble moving the ball?
Well, the first drive, I'll take the hit for that. We drove right down the length of the field. We should have got away with some points down there, but our defense got to tackle a little better, and our offense they're kind of beating us up a little bit. We're going to do better in the second half.
Defensively, you mentioned it. Alabama showing a very balanced offense. What do you need to do there?
Well, they're showing balance because they're ahead of us right now. We just got to come out in the second half. We get the ball first, do the best we can and make this something 24-10 and make it a game.
Thanks a lot. Vern, back to you.
All right, Tracy. That's the end of the first half. It's 24-3 here. Ingram with 2 TDs. Now let's go to Tim Brando in our New York studio. Richardson, that's furious. It's Burton, jump pass. How about intercepted in the end zone? Florida, Alabama in Tuscaloosa. It's been a one-sided battle so far. And moments ago, Tracy Wolfson with Nick Saban.
Coach, so much went right for you in that first half, but what stood out the most?
Well, I think the way we controlled the ball on offense, kept a lot of balance, kept the ball, kept possession of the ball. I think it's going to be important in the second half as well.
Defensively, how have you been able to hold them to just 3 points?
Well, the goal line stand really helped. We've had good field position, and we've been able to keep the ball. We played pretty well on third down. We're getting a little pressure on the quarterback, not getting sacks. We got to continue to do that.
A big lead, but what do you remind your team coming out here?
Well, if they learned anything last week, it should be about a 60-minute game, and we got to stay focused and motivated and be aggressive in what we're doing.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Vern, back to you.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Recall that Jeffrey Demps is hampered with an ankle. Andre DeBose is back to return the kick, number 4. Cade Foster will kick it off. And here's DeBose, who caught his first 4 passes of his Florida career, and wow, he muffs it. But he's got great speed. How about that for making something out of nothing? Out across the 27-yard line, so Florida does get the ball. Now, I want you to know, I've thought long and hard during the for a really innovative, penetrating question here. What are you going to do if you're Florida?
And Vern, I spent the whole half trying to think of something that I would do if I was Urban. I would tell my team to think about, remember the national championship game with Texas? They had a freshman quarterback. Everything looked bad. They just started chucking it, and they got back in the game. I think that's what Florida has to do. Chuck it early and see if they can get back in the game throwing the ball.
Brantley will do it on first down, and he hits his receiver out of the backfield, and that's Trey Burton, number 8. Well, Florida in the first half. The possession chart, nothing to call home about.
Well, he started out, Brantley did 3 for 3. And then he finished up, 2 for 10 in that first half. I think they just got to keep chucking it. I really do. It's like Gilbert did against them in the national championship game. Throw more early and then come back to your other plays.
Here's the dive play. Demps cut down as he gets to the 49-yard line.
I think the most disappointing thing for the Florida team Yes, they're not stopping their run game. I understand that for Alabama. But that offensive line for Florida, such veterans, are not producing any blocks. I don't know if they've blocked Marcel Darius yet in the football game.
It is a veteran offensive line.
And you know, every time you talk to Steve Adazio, he says, we're not a finesse team. We blow people out. We're physical. Well, I think he needs to challenge him and say, come on, guys, let's do it.
That's Xavier Nixon, number 73, sets up at right tackle. Brantley. Nixon gets the block to give him time. Andre DeBose. We mentioned that he made his first 4 catches of his career last week in the win over Kentucky. That's his first night, and it's good for a gain of 26.
See, here's what, again, I've been saying this when I did the Tennessee game, and I've been saying it when I've been interviewed for 4 weeks. You got a throwing quarterback. You got to throw. I mean, as much as you'd like to run that offense that you've had, if you don't have a quarterback that can run, it's hard to run that spread. Trey Burton is your backhand. He's not your forehand. Your quarterback has to be your forehand.
Here's Brantley. Demps is alongside, number 2. They head to Demps, and he runs into traffic again. How about Gary, look at the halftime trends?
They got to be good ones for Alabama, don't they? 2 touchdowns for Ingram. Well, there you go. McElroy right there is in charge of the football game. Hasn't had the turnovers like he did against Arkansas. The changeup guy has not been able to change up at all. And when you turn it over on the road, you're not going to lose, no matter how good your recruits are.
Burton to the left, in motion now. Play fake. Tried to set the screen, but oh my goodness.
Nice job getting it away, though.
And let's get an update on Mike Gillislee. Here's Trace.
Well, guys, he came out on crutches during halftime. He is out with a badly sprained right ankle. The good news is I was told that Demps is hanging in just fine. He needed no attention at half, and he will obviously have to try even harder to play through that sprained foot with Gillislee out, guys.
3rd and 7. Florida only 1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. Shaky snap again. Here's Brantley. Got a man!
Yep, beautiful.
Carl Moore with a 1st and goal.
See, I think when you're having trouble doing something, you got to do what the quarterback does best. And Moore comes inside very nicely and then comes back outside. Plants that foot, and a wonderful throw right over the defender that time. Milliner, that's a wonderful throw to the outside by Brantley.
Kirby Smart, defensive coordinator, Alabama.
Now let's see if they'll let Brantley be the quarterback the whole time they're inside the 10. Last time he didn't get to do it.
Burton, wide right. Moody alongside John Brantley. There's the dive again, and Moody is stuffed.
Well, I'll tell you, he's having a good football game. Courtney Upshaw is number 41. He knocked down a couple passes, and that time he just stunted it and made the tackle right as the Brantley was handing the ball off on the dive play.
Now take a look at the Verizon red zone. And Florida has a 2nd down and goal. Burton will take the direct snap. Bobbled it straight up the middle. Is that Marcel Darius again?
Good chance.
Wow. Yes, it is.
Another bad snap. My, that just throws off the timing. Burton gets in, and that was Hightower.
Hightower, yeah, it was.
Hightower got that one.
Darius thought if he came in late, we'd talk about it. That was Dante Hightower. It's Darius, Hightower, and Courtney Upshaw, along with Mark Barron, who are the foundation points of this defense. That's a freshman, C.J. Mosley, number 32. Here's Brantley. Whips it. Incomplete. Intended for Thompson.
You know, it strikes me that last year, Tebow would go to Hernandez in this situation. You know, there is no Hernandez. There are no Cornelius Ingram. They have young players. Trey Burton, Jordan Reed. Look at the great coverage in the secondary that time. I think it was Milliner again, wasn't it?
It was.
One throw went over his outstretched hand, and that one he made.
Well, Urban Meyer decides to take the field goal attempt.
I think he knows his team is fragile, and he needs to have a successful drive and put points on the board.
Chaz Henry, second field goal tonight. He hit his first from 39. This one from 21. He's on in place of Caleb Sturgis. And they do get 3 out of the opening drive of the third quarter. The margin has been cut to 18. Alabama and Nick Saban when we come back. 101,000 and a few extra hands at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. Aerial coverage of the SEC on CBS Sports provided by Goodyear.
Well, as successful as that drive was for Florida, as you're looking at the stats right there, it also was successful defense. Remember that drive right before the end of the half? They had the ball, Florida did at the 36-yard line. They only gave up 3, and then as successful as that drive was, they ended up stopping them for no touchdown again. That's good defense. They're playing against skilled players, and they hold them to a field goal.
Here's Brad Phillips with the kickoff. He's kicking in place of Caleb Sturgis tonight. Trent Richardson. Told you he broke one for 91 earlier. Richardson at Escambia High School in Florida had 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns then. Well, we talked about Greg McElroy and that undefeated record in high school and college. How about John Brantley? He's now started 5 games here. He's 31-1 as a starting quarterback. He lost only once in the state finals his senior year to Pahokee High School, the Class 2B. McElroy 16-0 as a high school senior, and of course 14-0 last year as the quarterback of the national champions. Pretty good numbers,
I'd say.
Here's McElroy. Jonathan Bostic, number 52, got there, but now we've gotten to know Greg over the last couple of years. We asked him yesterday, did he remember the last time he was defeated? It was in 2001, and it was against a middle school from Grapevine, Texas. They were tied 6-6 in the fourth quarter, and his center snapped the ball over his head through the end zone, safety. They lost 8-6.
Hate when that happens, huh?
Yeah. First down and 10. Left side, Julio Jones. He's got Carpenter out in front. And that was very, no flag. You know, that really did seem inadvertent. Jelani Jenkins, number 43 over there. So they moved the ball out. Well, Greg McElroy was telling us that his dad missed that loss. And that was the last game he's ever missed. That's Greg McElroy Sr. and his mom, Jamie, sister to the right. Greg McElroy Sr. is an executive with the Dallas Cowboys. He'd also worked with the Rangers and out west with both the Dodgers and the Los Angeles Kings. Second down. Ingram.
There's that little slip screen, well defended by Florida. Now, Erdman talked about to Tracy whether his players had learned a lesson from what happened last week. Excuse me, Nick talked to Tracy at halftime about whether his players learned a lesson about what happened last week against Arkansas. I wonder if the Alabama staff has learned a lesson because Arkansas kind of took their foot off the accelerator. Let's see if Alabama can continue to be aggressive with their play calling here in the second half.
McElroy is 10 of 14 in this game. 3rd and 4. He's forced out to his right, goes deep and incomplete. Darius Hanks.
He did everything right except just didn't hit the target that time.
Will Hill was defending Darius Hanks. 10 on 15, and so a rare occasion when Alabama's going to have to punt. And
remember the last one?
Yeah.
Shanked it.
26 yards. Janoris Jenkins is back to return the punt of Corey Mandel.
Can Florida special teams do anything to get things going for them? Not
Mandel?
yet. Not yet. Oh, my.
Oh, did he go into the end zone or is it down? It is down at the 1.
Now remember the difference in professional football. If your foot is touching the end zone line, it's a touchback. In college football, it's the ball. So even though Kirkpatrick is in the end zone, the ball isn't.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Ram Trucks, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Aflac, and by Coke Zero. Well, it's 24-6 here. How about elsewhere around the country? Nevada ranked for the first time since I was a boy. George Blanda, the former All-American at Kentucky and longtime NFL player, passed away. He, of course, played for Bear Bryant at Kentucky. Our best wishes go out to Mark D'Antonio, who was unable to go to the game today. Watched from the hospital after a heart attack a week ago. A.J. Green back in after a 4-game suspension for Georgia. 2 touchdowns tonight.
A heart attack's a little less painful when you're 5-0.
Yeah.
Like Michigan State.
That's right. First down from the 2. That'll be second down from the 4. Trey Burton, number 8.
Well, you wonder if Steve Adazio, the offensive coordinator for Florida, can challenge his offensive line and say, come on, guys. You're the heaviest, and we say the strongest offensive line in the SEC. Could you get us a first down?
He was talking yesterday or earlier this week, I beg your pardon, on the phone about Trey Burton. And he's a rough Connecticut kind of guy, and he said, he is a football playing guy.
There he is. Excuse me, there he is right there.
Play action, and wide open is Deontay Thompson. Out of the backfield and all the way out to the 28, 29-yard line.
They had a corner blitz from the side for there, and that's what allowed. Watch it, coming right off the corner. Good read by Brantley, throwing the ball exactly where he needed to throw. He made the fake and read the hot at the same time, and that allowed the play. It was the perfect call into that corner cat.
24-yard gain, Thompson from Brantley. Brantley has been on target for most of this second half.
Yeah, well, they're letting him be on target.
Yeah. Demps. Oh, those snaps back are a little wobbly still.
I know.
They really are.
Well, Mike Pouncey played, 2 years at guard. He also played defensive tackle for Florida. I mean, he really is a great football player, but he's still new at center. This is their 5 best guys. They want him in the game, and listen, that's all Florida does is shotgun, so he's going to have to learn it.
Well, his twin brother Marquise was the center last year. Now probably in Pittsburgh, I'm guessing, watching this game and saying, come on, Mike, put it a little more to your right. That one's good. Brantley back. Nobody open.
Oh.
Intercepted. And here we go. Touchdown, Alabama. C.J. Mosley, the freshman linebacker. Extra point coming.
Sometimes you can't win for trying to dump the ball safely to Emmanuel Moody right here. He thinks Moody is going to drift in, but he doesn't. At the last second, Moody stops, and Mosley just comes in and reads Brantley's eyes. He thinks it's going to drop it. Right to the other guy. A gift.
Steve Adazio, the offensive coordinator, thought, well, maybe. Not to be. Third interception for Alabama tonight. Well, sometimes words just disappear. This is a great segue. Monday on CBS, somebody's looking for trouble on TV's #1 comedy. An all-new 2.5 Men. Monday. Only CBS. C.J. Mosley. Remember talking with Kirby Smart a couple of weeks ago on the phone. He said this freshman linebacker is a pretty good player.
Yeah, he's played a lot tonight. Mosley has.
Andre DeBose, number 4. He's going to be down near the 22-yard line. Interceptions, 3 of them.
Yeah, it has. It's led to 14 points, and of course, erased a possible 7 points. The first one by Johnson right there on the ill-timed jump pass, and then a drop-off pass. Both of Brantley's interceptions have been on drop-off passes underneath his checkdowns, which are supposed to be the safest thing your quarterback does. And obviously it hasn't. It's a real dilemma now for Florida. They're not comfortable running the offense that their quarterback does the best.
John Brantley had a streak. You saw 2 interceptions in 18 games before tonight. He had a streak of 156 without an INT that ended last week. Here's Jeffrey Demps going right, losing a yard. Now let's go back to Tim Brando for this Heisman Watch, presented by Nissan.
Vern, it's safe to say quarterback play is not an issue for Kellen Moore. 3 touchdown passes, 13 of 18. Close the books on him. 196 yards. They're leading 52-0 against New Mexico State. Denard Robinson of Michigan, almost 500 total yards, 5 touchdowns. And DeMarco Murray helps lead the Sooners in the Red River rivalry to victory over Texas. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Tim. Brantley in trouble, out to the 25. Darrington Centimore, number 94, made that tackle.
Yeah, Centimore almost got him once and then ended up getting him again, but Marcel Darius inside. The more you watch this guy, he lines up sometimes at nose tackle. Boy, that's good against good. He's going up against Pouncey, one of the best offensive linemen in the country, and Darius gets underneath and leverages him right back into the quarterback.
3rd and 7. Stunts defensively. Brantley over the middle. Caught for the first down. Out to the 38-yard line. That's Frankie Hammond Jr., number 85, and so Florida does convert.
It's really an interesting dilemma for Florida. I mean, it's not yet in the season where they match up well enough to handle Alabama. They're a young football team, but where do they go from here the rest of the year? Do they try to get better being a drop-back passing team, which their quarterback does well, or do they bring in Burton and other quarterbacks and try to go back to what they used to do last year? Interesting decisions for Florida.
1st down and 10. Brantley rolling right after the play fake. Drills it, and it's complete. Inside the 45-yard line, that catch made by Jordan Reed, number 11.
Because you can see the skills that John Brantley has throwing the ball. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, we all know he's a gifted thrower, inexperienced. And remember, the Florida offense is inexperienced, and now they're going against a well-coached Alabama team. Just faced one of the best passers in college football a week ago, so they're not intimidated at all.
1st down and 10, Gators. This time they'll operate with Brantley under center. Play fake. Good block in the backfield. Intercepted. Nope. Mark Barron came down out of bounds, and now he's going to get flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. He heaved the ball down. It bounced away from the official, and that's going to cost him.
Well, we talked about 3 returning players for this team, Darius, Hightower, and Barron, and they might be as good as they're as number 4 at their positions in college football. He makes the catch out of bounds. He thinks he has an interception. He sees it, it's called no.
After the play was over,
slams it.
unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 4, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Can't do that. Official's right in front of you.
Yeah.
3 feet away from you.
Official was right there.
Yep.
So was the football. That didn't take long to get that,
was easy.
flag out, did it?
Just to find the flag. That's all it took.
First down and 10, Gators. 31-6, Demps. Brantley, oh, brother, that's a lateral. Because it was touched, and Demps has to go back and fall on it.
Had a decent play into the corner cat here, but Brantley didn't get it out fast enough and pitch it. He's not as good as Tebow. Watch, a corner cat into the sideline for the 8-man front, and he tips the ball trying to get it to Demps. Pitch it, pitch it. Took too long. He had the play if he got rid of it. In that case, when you see the quarter cat, Vern, forget the fake. Just wave and pitch. He would have had the play.
Lost 8 instead. It's 2nd and 18. Ooh, he's got a lot of time. And when he's given that time, finds the open man. In this case, it's Deontay Thompson. So they got 15 of the 18 back.
Well, you look down here. DeBose, Thompson, Moore, Dunbar, Hammond, all highly recruited wide receivers. They've got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. Because they don't have Demps healthy, they got to find different ways to get the ball into the hands of their other playmakers on the field.
3rd down and 3. 3 wides to the right. Demps alongside Brantley. Got him. Demps nailed. 4th down. Damian Square, number 92.
Well, I think they were just stunning up front. Damian Square was lined up over the nose. Pouncey just whiffs. Pouncey is really struggling at center here. He got leveraged into the quarterback, and that time Square went right around the All-American center to make that play.
4th and 4. 4-man rush. Brantley hit as he lets it go. A flag between the 10 and 15-yard line. Carl Moore, the intended receiver. Looked like it might have been Chris Jordan.
Yeah, I think there might have been holding downfield, though. Yeah, I think 28, DeMarcus Milliner is going to get holding on the play.
Prior to the pass being thrown, holding, number 28 defense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
A little bit of panic that time. Watch this. Comes inside and he grabs his jersey. Pretty easy to see.
Yeah, it is.
Even from up here.
Well, on the coach's clinic tape,
that'll be one.
Let's define holding.
You know what? I'm surprised he panicked so much. That was Trey Burton. That's not a skilled receiver right there.
Play fake. Courtney Upshaw rushing. Carl Moore in the end zone. Incomplete. Another flag.
This drive has been kept alive by interference. Back to back this time. Well thrown ball. Right to the corner. Milliner does hit his arm before the ball gets there. Pretty easy call.
When they add to the holding call, and they say, here's pass interference.
Yes. And then remember they had Mark Barron, the 15 yards too.
Number 28, defense. Ball will be put at the 2-yard line. First down.
You know, that was actually a smart play by Milliner that time. He had to save a touchdown. That was a touchdown. It's not smart to get beat early, but at the end of the play, he had to interfere, or that would have been 6 and 7 points.
DeMarcus Milliner, the freshman out of Millbrook, Alabama.
And again, this is Florida's only game. They have to throw the ball. That's all they got. The changeup is the run game.
Moody, the deep back in the eye. Hit as he nears the goal line. He's going to be down just short. Jarrell Harris, number 5, made the tackle. Very close. Second down. Final minute, third quarter. Timeout, Florida.
Yeah, they had to. The play clock was, the 24-second clock was coming down.
Play, the call on the field was confirmed, that play reviewed, and so it will be Florida's ball about a foot outside the goal line, if that. Now they're going to want just a small thing. They're going to want to score at this end of the field because that's the non-student section.
Oh, right.
If they have to go the other way, there's going to be a raucous noise.
I think they're all raucous here, to tell you the truth.
That's true, yeah.
But Florida has moved the ball in the second half. It's the turnover that is just, really.
Yeah. Moody is the deep back.
2 goal line stands so far by this Alabama defense. Can they do it again?
Oh, he fumbled.
Alabama has it, I think.
Brantley was first there. Let's see what the official ruling is. Yes. Who else? Courtney Upshaw.
He gets his hands on everything. This is the 3rd goal line stand by Alabama in this football game. This one is inexcusable for Florida. A simple isolation play mishandled. Oh, look at Brantley gets stepped on coming away from center, and that causes the poor handoff. Watch his foot get stepped on. See? He gets kicked, and he never gets the ball back to Moody.
Gosh, we've seen that a lot over the years.
And remember, Florida does not have a lot of experience taking snaps from under center.
4th Gator turnover tonight. They came into this game +8 through the first 4 games. They're -4 this evening. Here's Richardson. He's stopped. Jelani Jenkins, number 43. At home last week, Florida exploded offensively. 48 points, 466 total yards. Burton had the 6 touchdowns, 1 turnover. Disastrous results so far tonight. That is the end of 3. We'll return to Bryant-Denny Stadium right after this word from your local station.
Cause we gon' rock this club. We gon' go all night. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. Cause I told you once, now I told you twice. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite.
Look from up above, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Imagine in 1929, 12,000 stands. Now, seats rather, 101,000 in the newly expanded stadium. Here's Julio Jones in motion. Richardson is the deep back. This is his 10th carry of the night, and he's not going to go down easily. Well, you had an idea, Gary, at the there he is. At the beginning of the second half that Florida just had to start chucking it. They did, but
yeah, I bet it's been their short yardage.
Yeah.
I mean, early in the game, 3rd and 1, they didn't make it. Now here's 2nd and 1, they do it again. This time 2 feet collide and cause a turnover. Now, John Brantley has to understand in that situation, when you get clipped, you got to protect the ball and not take a toss. But he's a young football player trying to make things happen, and he made a bad one.
4 turnovers for the Gators tonight. Here's McElroy, right side. Julio Jones just gets to the 6, and that's about it. John Brantley. His dad, of course, was a quarterback at Florida, late 70s. Here's a footnote. His roommate at the University of Florida was Chris Collinsworth. That's John's dad. Not sure what happened to him, but always thought he was a very bright fellow. Corey Mandel will taunt.
Yeah, doesn't Florida need to go after this and try to get one, steal a touchdown here? Here they come. Well blocked.
And the catch is made at the 46. Tackle made by John Fulton, number 10, Janoris Jenkins. He's not happy with things. 38-yard punt, nothing on the return. John Brantley and the Gators try to solve a puzzle when we come back.
And now it's time for our Geico game recap.
Take you back to the opening drive of the game. Jeremy Shelley with this field goal at 28 yards. And here's Ingram, the first of his 2 touchdowns tonight. That made it 10-0. Tack on one more, this one over left guard, and it was 17-0. Marquise Mays added to it. The wide receiver with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Michael Williams. Chaz Henry replacing Caleb Sturgis finally put Florida on the scoreboard, 24-3. And he then added another field goal 21 yards out to make it an 18-point margin. Alabama's defense has forced 3 interceptions. One was returned for a touchdown. That was C.J. Mosley, the freshman linebacker. And that brings us up to date and puts Florida on the field on offense at the 45. Brantley, left side, incomplete. That was Milliner defending. The pass intended for Deontay Thompson.
You know what's reminding me a little bit right here is this is a critical decision now for Urban Meyer and his team as they go the rest of the season. Not likely to win this game. But remember in 2006 when Chris Leak threw that interception gift to Ramsey Robinson that was dropped, and he stuck with Leak and built that team into a championship team. Will he do the same with Brantley here in this rough game and come back and build a championship team the rest of the year?
Here's the sweep to the right. This is Jeffrey Demps. Showed a little bit of the speed that we've grown to accept about him. He's hampered by the ankle, as we mentioned. Daquan Menzie makes the stop.
Because you know a lot of people will start to say to Florida, let's get out of this offense. Let's go to Trey Burton. That's what we do. Let's go to the kid that ran 6 touchdowns. That is the decision that this guy right there is going to have to make.
And do you have a feeling of which way he'll go?
I think he has to stick with Brantley. I don't think Trey Burton is ready. Neither did I think Tim Tebow was ready in 2006. That's what I mean. That decision was key by Urban. He was patient.
Sidearm, bring it back. There was a flag pre-snap.
Prior to the snap, delayed game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Look at this.
I know, nothing so far for Alabama in the second half. They've been able to take their foot off the gas pedal, but it's been downhill for them. They don't have to.
Yeah, coasting. 3 down for the Crimson Tide. Brantley will take the snap. Oh, there's another bad snap. Yep. Here's Brantley, picks it up and fires it right side. Intended for DeBose, but this problem with the shotgun snap with Mike Pouncey continues to inflict harm on the Gators offense.
See, it's not all Brantley here because Florida is changing drastically. The new center, the new offense, a change in his staff for Florida, new coaches, a different system. It's not like Landry Jones coming in there for Sam Bradford. This is a whole different look for Florida.
Demps, draw play, breaks a tackle. Breaks another and moves the ball to the 21.
You know, one of the things, Vern, when I was out at practice Thursday that I noticed that if you're going to come to Alabama and be a linebacker and be the guy that calls the plays, and this time it's Dante Hightower. Last year, Rolando McClain. You have a lot of meetings with Nick Saban. He literally had 4 individual meetings at practice. 4 different times Nick goes, Dante, come here. And they had to do one-on-one talk throughout the whole practice. He got one-on-one tutoring the whole day on Thursday.
First and 10. Demps, no help out on the edge.
Play.
That's the freshman, DeMarcus Milliner.
Yep. He was being blocked on the play. Remember, he just had the 2 penalties. This time he laid out and just with his right hand, I think, dove inside and got the tackle. What a play. Watch him come in, dive, beat the block by the wide receiver, and make the tackle.
2nd and 11. 10:35 to go in this one. Here's Brantley again. Hit as he lets it go.
Marcel Darius.
Marcel Darius. Gee, Merry Christmas.
And I'll tell you, he's not 100%.
Right.
Watch him come. I think he's on the right side of the screen right here. I don't know if he said tackle or end this time. He plays that, or he was at tackle. He comes in on as a stunt that time. Tackles go outside, ends come around. Bang. When he's 100%, he can do those pirouettes and score, remember?
Yes. And he's as a nose tackle right now, straight over the center, Pouncey. Brantley. Marcel Darius in the championship game. First of all, knocked Colt McCoy out in the first quarter. Then he had this key play. Interception return for a touchdown off of the shovel pass right before halftime. Voted the game's most outstanding defensive player. 4th and 9. That last pass intended for Stephen Ali, number 89. Now Demps wide to the left. Stunts again. Singleton missed. Brantley almost knocked out on his feet. Sells out and comes up just short.
Singleton, it's a good thing Singleton missed, or we
Centimore,
would be seeing another quarterback.
Centimore.
Was it Centimore? Number 94 came around, and I thought he had a full head of steam, and Brantley's down on the other end of it. Watch number 94 come inside. Oh, great duck, because he was going full speed. And then he takes 2 hits from Barron at the end.
Oh, boy, he got sandwiched.
He sure did.
And John Brantley is down. Hit by Mark Barron and C.J. Mosley.
Yep. Wow.
Time call. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by the Ford Fiesta, Sonic, New York Life, and by Budweiser. John Brantley, the quarterback, who took that double hit as he dived for the first down, on the bench right now.
Remember, it's 4th down. Mosley gets him right in the rib cage, right under his right shoulder. I mean, he had no choice. It's 4th down. You can't slide on 4th down. He gets a double hit, Barron and Mosley, and you know, he showed his teammates something there, but again, stopped.
Here's the handoff. Right side to Ingram, breaks the first contact. He's had a really modest night, has Mark Ingram. That's his 9th carry and just over 30 yards for the evening. But again, John Brantley took a double shot as he came up just short of the first down.
Well, you would think if you're Florida, I mean, Alabama has rushed in the whole game for 120 yards. They've passed for 103, and you're getting killed.
Yeah.
And you've been inside their red territory 5 times in this game. You have 2 field goals, but 2 huge turnovers.
One an interception, the other a fumble, both of those inside the 2-yard line. Here's McElroy. Duke Lemons misses him. McElroy scoots down the sidelines and out of bounds. Well, he did not go out of bounds. How about that?
I think he's smiling because he tried to bait. First he baits Duke Lemons to get out of the pocket. Okay, then I think he tries to bait Will Hill and think, I'm going to go out of bounds, I'm going to go out of bounds. No, cut back in and try to make a bigger play out of it because he pops up smiling saying, yep, there's my dad, but I tried to get a big one out of the play.
First down and 10 from McElroy. Here's Ingram. I'm just thinking about, we've gotten to know him, Gary, and he's just a delightful young man. Has a quiet self-confidence in himself, don't you think?
Yeah.
And, he understands that the most praise he seems to receive is he's such a good game manager.
Right.
And he told us earlier, I just think about Trent Dilfer with the Ravens. And he said Trent Dilfer's Super Bowl ring is no smaller than Ray Lewis's.
He did say that. You're right. I mean, it's hard. He is actually a type A personality.
Oh.
I mean, and he has to submit himself to be the quarterback for Alabama because this is how Nick wants him to play in this offense. It's very difficult to do.
Play fake. Rush coming. McElroy delivers it over the head of Darius Hanks. Now let's go back to the studio for this John Hancock update. Here's Tim.
Vernon, Gary, this play sums up Georgia's season in a lot of ways. Driving for what could be a game-winning field goal. Caleb King looks to be pitching it back for what could be a flea flicker. Fumbles the football. Bulldogs fall to 1-4. Have lost 4 in a row for the first time in 20 years. And the Buffalo fans storm the field. This just in. That's a 1-4 team you just beat. Back to you.
Tim, I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but it's an SEC team.
Well, okay.
Everybody likes to beat the SEC right now because they're cutting the pub, they're winning the games. For them, it was a big win.
Any win in Colorado these days has been a big win.
A big win against an SEC team is huge.
Justin Tratto with the tackle there.
Well, Urban Meyer, he knew this year would be a little bit different. You see the record. Auburn, Alabama 2-4, the rest of the SEC, and he's dominated the East. The West he has not had as good a record against. He lost to Ole Miss. He's lost to Auburn and Alabama.
Guy can't coach.
Nope.
Here's Mandel with the punt. Janoris Jenkins is back. Takes it on a hop. And then he is nailed inside the 30-yard line, or just outside the 30. 45-yard punt, 7 on the return. 6:38 to go. Crimson Tide rolling. We are back in Tuscaloosa, and let's quickly check in with Tracy Wolfson on John Brantley.
Well, as you guys were saying, they were checking out his right ribs. They took a long look at him. He was having some trouble breathing, and then they just had to make sure he can throw. He got on the sideline, threw a few passes. He looked over. He said, I'm fine. He's going to go back in and give it a go. Also, on a few drives earlier, he hurt his right thumb, so he's dealing with that as well, guys.
All right, Tracy, thank you. John Brantley, 27-1 as a starter in high school, 4-0, and this is first year as a starting Gator quarterback. And tonight it's just been a case of, not just a case, but the Gators have really self-destructed with turnovers. Alabama's had a lot to do with that. Here's Brantley. He's got a man open. This is Frankie Hammond out near the 48-yard line for a nice gain. That's a pickup of 14. Will Lowry, number 29.
Well, that Florida offensive line is going to have to get better. I mean, just flat out, they're going to have to get better. They need to help their quarterback. I mean, the guy started his second road start in the SEC. He's got talent, but the experience is on the offensive line, and they have not come through in this game.
Haven't mentioned, but at right guard for most of the second half has been number 67, John Halapio, in place of Maurice Hurt. And here's another Brantley pass. This is Omarius Hines, tackled by Mark Barron. Well, Gators are back in Gainesville next week against LSU. And then Mississippi State, we get what used to be referred to as a cocktail party in Georgia.
Right, and you know what really strikes me now with this game like this is everybody says, oh, they're going to meet again, they're going to meet again. There's no margin of error now for Florida.
Right.
I mean, they can put, South Carolina's going to get this big game next week with Alabama kind of finishing the
false start, 73 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Think about it, Alabama's going to finish the last leg of the Bermuda Triangle with the offensive coaches, Petrino, Meyer, and Spurrier next week. So if South Carolina wins that game, then, Florida, that gets really dicey. If they want to come back and say this is just the first of two, they got a lot of work left.
Out of the gun. 5 receivers, blitz coming, blitz getting there. Mark Barron, unimpeded.
Yep, it was a beautifully designed blitz. Now that's only the first sack of the game. But you would admit, right, Vern, they have pressured him all game.
Yes, yep.
They have rocked him all game. And the offensive line has not done a good job right there. Pouncey did not come off quick enough on the blitzing safety in the nickel package.
3rd and 19, and another flag.
Yep, illegal substitution that time.
That is the call.
12 players in formation, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Now book your travel, Mr. Danielson.
Ready.
We are going to Columbia. Top-ranked Alabama against South Carolina, 3:30 Eastern next Saturday. And it'll begin with college football today. TIAA prep next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
And Steve will say, Gary, I don't know if we're good enough. I don't know. We're going to try to chuck it around, and if we're good enough, we'll make some first downs. I don't know.
He's got a pretty good running back. We know that. You got to work on your impression of Spurrier. Yeah.
We're just going to chuck it. We're just going to chuck it around.
Well, that pass incomplete. More pressure. And let's go back to Tim.
Well, Vern, speaking of chucking it, that's what Oregon's done, and the Quack Attack has overcome what was an 18-point deficit late in the first quarter. Darren Thomas with his 4th touchdown of the game, his 3rd passing. That one to DJ Davis, 45-31. The Quack Attack. Back to you.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. On 4th down, here's Chaz Henry on to punt. And Marquise Mays is the deep man this time. He waves everybody away from it. It takes another great roll and is down at the 8-yard line. 4 minutes, 22 seconds to go. Crimson Tide up big over Florida. Mentioned earlier that we tried to come up with a nickname for Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson. Tracy Wolfson suggested Fast and Furious. We told Mark about it. Here was his response.
I heard thunder and lightning, but we really don't like that because we both have thunder and we both have lightning. So we didn't like that one. We didn't like the 2-headed monster. But I just heard one about 10 minutes ago, the Fast and the Furious, and I'm quite fond of that one. And I'm liking it a lot, so I think we might stick with that. I'm going to have to go over with him. We're going to have a little conference meeting about that, but I think he'll like it.
When we let Tracy tell Mark that it was Fast and Furious, he looked across the table and said, brilliant. A.J. McCarron is split out wide to the right.
He hits in the game and he goes to wide receiver.
And here is Ingram. Can he deliver a blow? I think that was a little furious. That's
Coming
Josh
out.
Evans. Excuse me, Gary.
That's all right. Coming around, following number 85. Josh Evans comes in. You're going to have to go lower than that. It strikes me, 4:15 in the game. Very valuable guy here. Mark Ingram in the football game with 4 minutes to go. I think one of the reasons of what you mentioned, he hasn't had a lot of yards in this game. And I think Nick is trying to reward him with a few yards for his stats.
They'll go from the Wildcat again. And here is Ingram. Remember the last 4 or 5 minutes last week in Arkansas? They ran this play over and over and over and over. Greg McElroy's day is complete. He's a Red Lobster Scholar Athlete. Take a look at the credentials. Not bad. He's already graduated. He's going after a master's degree and a Rhodes Scholarship. 2010 Campbell Award semifinalist, and he is Red Lobster's scholar athlete. Their commitment to the investment of our future shown today by donating $1,000 to the University of Alabama's General Scholarship Fund. McCarron under center. Handoff to Eddie Lacy, number 42. Saw a lot of action, did Lacy, in the first 2 games. In game 3, he fumbled inside the red zone and did not get into the game last week.
Heard a great story about Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson with Eddie Lacy. Mark was out on the sideline with it. Ed Lacy fumbled the fumble early in the season, and Ingram and Richardson ran out to Lacy and protected him from Nick, so Nick couldn't yell at him. So he walked them all the way to the bench and kind of protected their guy. That's kind of funny when you think about it.
Lacy is the deep back. He'll get the handoff as they work on the clock.
That might work once. I don't know if that'll work.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Time.
Well, next week, South Carolina will be at home against Alabama. They had an open week this week, and then they have Ole Miss, open week for Ole Miss. Then at Tennessee, open week for Tennessee. At LSU,
here, huh?
open week for LSU. I mean, it's just, to use a word, it's inexplicable.
Yeah. Well, Auburn has won. Auburn has won before too this year, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's just an anomaly of the schedule that 6 opponents in the SEC will have open weeks before they take on the Crimson Tide. In his 8 losses as the head coach, Nick Saban, 5 of the 8 have come against teams with an open week prior to the game. Mal Moore was telling us last night they've changed the rules in the conference now. Next year, no team will have to face more than 3 opponents who have an open week prior to playing them.
Nice little deal for the offensive line there by Nick Saban and Jim McElwain, the offensive coordinator, taking the whole unit out to get a little ovation from the crowd.
Eddie Lacy with the carry as we wind down. Back-to-back wins for Alabama over Florida. Aerial coverage of the SEC on CBS Sports provided by Goodyear.
Well, that makes Urban Meyer 11-8 versus the West in his career, but 25-2 against the East. And that's where he's got to win to get back and play this Alabama team again.
Here's McCarron. And Lacy goes right.
Nice run.
That'll buy him a new series of downs as he gets the first down after the 45-yard line. Matt Elam, number 22, makes the stop. For Ingram tonight, 12 carries, 48 yards. That's fast. For Furious, 10 carries for 64 yards. Really modest numbers. And did they shut it down in the second half?
Well, I think they just lost their focus. They didn't need it, really. You know,
right.
They tried it. They were playing so much defense. Florida was going for it on 4th down every time. They just didn't have the ball a lot.
Now Nick Saban and Urban Meyer will meet at midfield. They are competitors, but good friends. A lot of respect between these two. Some scene for this tussle in Tuscaloosa. 31-6. Back to Brian Denny in a moment.